Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. It is Transformation Tuesday, and I am excited to be back with you guys. Welcome, Brian. Welcome to a new day. I'm excited to get this day started. Well, my day started already. I've already spent my hour at the gym, so I am bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready for whatever this day may bring. As you guys know, for a while now, we've been having a theme each week. And I thought long and hard about this one. I thought about what we've done already and where it makes sense for us to go as a collective. So we have already talked about, what was our first one? Our first one was, the old lady brain is kicking in. It's right on the tip of my tongue. The first one was transitions. We talked about transitions and the challenges that come with transitions. Transitions could be something like, becoming an empty nester, buying a new house, getting married, changing careers. There's all kinds of things. You transition, have a major change from one way that your life is operating, and now there's something significant that's new. So a transition. After the transitions, we talked about mastery, mastering that new place. You've transitioned from place one to place two, and now you want to go deep and wide and broad and really gain the skills necessary to do well in that new place. So we spent the week on mastery. After that, we talked about the power of visualization, and how you needed to see yourself successful and get clear about what success would look like for you in that new space. And then we talked about goal setting. Last week, we talked about the importance of systems, having good systems in place to support what it is you're trying to accomplish. And this week, I want to talk to you guys about habits and routines. Routines and habits. Habits drive our lives, right? But routines can allow us to consciously drive our lives and drive them into a direction that aligns with the goals that we have set for ourselves and what it is that we want to accomplish. So we're going to spend some time throughout the week as we go through each day looking at the impact that habits and routines can have on our lives and how we can gain control over our habits and our routines so that we assure that we're spending time, that those cycles are burned doing the things that are necessary for us to have what it is that we want out of this life that we've been gifted. So when we talk about habits, habits are just automatic behaviors. They're things that you just automatically do. You don't have to put a lot of thought into them. It's just kind of how you set yourself up to go through. It's an automatic response to a trigger. But routines add something to those habits. They add intentionality. It's a sequence of events that you intentionally do over and over again because you're trying to accomplish something, right? Or not. It could be because that routine has just become what it is and you haven't put a lot of thought into it. But we want to elevate from habits and routine behavior that's just automatic triggers to bring in that intentionality and focus in, tying it to the life that we're working to create, to make sure that we have good, healthy routines that will help us accomplish just that. Because our routines will either catapult us towards the life that we desire, or they're going to move us in the wrong direction. Good, healthy habits that get strung into intentional routines, there's no way you're not going to win. If you're doing the right things, the results will take care of themselves. But if you've got some bad habits, maybe I wake up every morning and the first thing I do is grab my phone and I start scrolling. I haven't captured my mind yet. I haven't gotten intentional about what I want to do with my day. I haven't focused myself at all. And I'm already caught up in the whirlwind of all the notifications and the bings and the bangs. And I'm just scrolling along, right? And next thing you know, the clock is ticking and I've got to get ready to start my day. And I have put no intentionality into what those things should be at all. The first thing I do, grab a Dr. Pepper because I'm not a coffee drinker, so I want that caffeine to kind of wake me up. Those are habits, and habits are difficult to break. But with intentionality and with focus, you can do that. And as you change those habits and you string them together to create a good morning routine for yourself, you will find yourself in a place to where the habits are getting healthier. You're more aware of what it is you're doing and how you're spending your time. And oh, by the way, every day I'm getting closer and closer and closer to the goals that I've set for myself because my habits, my routine are pushing me in that direction. They're pushing you somewhere. There's no way that they're not. Everything that we do has repercussions. Repercussions can be positive because they're moving us in the direction that we want to go. If I do crunches every day, the repercussion of that will be a flat abs, right? Eventually the muscles are going to come and I'm going to have what it is I'm working for. If I eat ice cream every morning, I'm going to have just the opposite. The bloat is going to happen, the weight gain is going to happen. So our habits dictate our results. And when we string those habits together, they're taking us in a direction. And I want us to just be aware of that and to dig in and spend time with ourselves, noticing what our habits are and where we find them that don't benefit us, we can adjust. There's nothing like awareness that gives us the opportunity to have a different outcome. What we are aware of, we can change. It's the things that are happening in the shadows, the things that are happening in the background that we're not really paying attention to, those behaviors that we go through time and time and time again, and we're not really even aware that they're there. I mentioned to you guys a long time ago that I was hanging out with a bunch of my cousins years ago, and one of my cousins, actually yesterday was his birthday, Al kept saying, "Why are you saying that about yourself?" He kept holding that mirror up, and I had developed a habit over time that was kind of just saying little negative things, poking at myself, and I wasn't really aware of it. It was couched in jokes and little flippant remarks that one on its own maybe didn't mean that much, but as the night went on and that habit kept appearing, he saw something that I didn't see. And every time I said something negative about myself, he was like, "Why are you saying that? I don't experience you that way at all. I'm really surprised to hear you say that. That doesn't sound like you at all." And after he did it about 3 times, it was like, whoa, I have a habit. It was very, very clear to me. It was like running into a wall. Didn't know that wall was there until I bumped my head. But I bumped my head hard. And I realized that that habit existed. And now, because I realized it, I could do something about it. I could start to change my language. I could start to speak life over myself. I could hear it now myself without somebody else going, "Hey, what are you talking about?" I could catch myself when I was in that space. And so he gave me a tremendous gift that keeps on giving. I think it became a part of how we ended up here, right? The things that I've experienced and how I've gotten through some of those things, I think is what drove me to even want to have these conversations, right? And so knowing what your habits are, it's rich opportunity to either lean in to the ones that are beneficial or really work on, or not or and really work on and reframe and change, prune away the ones that are not working for you and prepare yourself for success by changing them and bringing in new habits, new behaviors, new ways of thinking that are going to be beneficial to you and help you move towards the life that you desire. So the habits are the automatic behaviors. The routines are how we string our behaviors together at any point in time to create, an activity. Getting up in the morning, say as I wake up, saying having my gratitude practice, now getting into the gym and getting a little of those endorphins going. Those are routines that are either created or being created for my better being, right? My body has been giving me trouble. I'm going to a chiropractor twice a week now just to try to get back into alignment and to ward off some of this discomfort. I'm not getting any younger. So if I don't make good decisions now, I was talking to my dad the other day. He has some real, problems with his hips and his legs. And so walking and standing up and sitting down and things that we typically take for granted are real challenges for him. And now I see myself quite a bit his junior, already having hip pain and back pain and neck and shoulder. My whole left side has just been inflamed and unhappy, right? So I have to do something about it, or it's going to do something about it. I'm going to get stiffer. I'm going to have more pain. It will be more difficult to do those basic things. And I was talking to him yesterday after the chiropractic appointment. I was like, yeah, if I don't do something now, you were in your 70s when you started to have these issues. I watched him be, spry and agile and on the move my entire life. So it's a little difficult to see him in pain and struggling like that with such basic things. But I'm thinking about it yesterday, going, if I don't get it under control right now, I'm going to struggle way before, at least 20 years before he did. So I've got to do something right now. I have to create new habits right now. I have to give my body what it needs and lean into that self care right now. So, having that awareness, even if, I could lean into the pain and it could take me in the opposite direction, and I absolutely not want to move. I don't want to do anything. But I'm wise enough to know that that's only going to exacerbate the problem. It's going to make it worse. So I have to do the opposite of what my body is telling me, my mind rather is telling me, and push through those limiting beliefs and get up and move. I have the endorphins. Like if I could get up and run around the room right now, I have so much energy, right? On days when I don't work out, it's just the opposite. I get energy from this space, right? But I also, as soon as this is over with, I've changed laptop. I move from one computer to the next and I work. And if I'm not careful, I can go 3, 4, 5 hours and I'm sitting, I'm not moving, and my muscles and my joints and my ligaments, the body's getting tighter and tired of just being sedentary and not getting the movement that it needs. So I have to build it into my routine. Set a timer. It's time to get up and move around. I talked about that a little bit last week, putting those timers in my phone, just like I have my prayer reminders. Now is a good time to pray. I love those. They always come right when I need them. And same thing with the movement. And I have an alarm that tells me it's time to start winding down and getting ready to go to bed. Because we do get into our routines and we're not thinking as much as we should. We're just going through the motions. And give yourself that break. Let something tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, it's time to do something different, so that you are creating those healthy routines that are going to keep you moving and help you get where it is that you want to go in your physical body, in your mental, in your emotional, in your relationships, wherever it is that you want to see something different, where you want to see that transformation. Good, healthy routines will aid you in that process. So you have to ask yourself, what's my morning routine? How do I get my day started? Am I aware of what's ahead of me? And have I decided how I'm going to spend my time? Because once you make the decision, now it's easy, much easier to move through the day, because as stuff pops up, you already have your day planned, so you can make good decisions to support what it is you have planned out. If you have no plan, you're just kind of bobbing in the wind. You're blowing whichever way it takes you. You're reacting to whatever comes up. You're busy. You're getting lots of stuff done, but you may not be productive. Busy is one thing. Productive is a whole nother level. I can be busy every moment of every day. There's always stuff to do. But when I do the right stuff at the right time to accomplish the goals that I have for myself, now I've moved past that the commonplace of busy, and I've moved into that elevated space of productivity. And that's where we want to spend our time, right? Productivity, rest and recover. Productivity, rest and recover. This busy thing, it's just a distraction. There's a whole bunch of stuff to do. It makes us feel like we're getting stuff done, but are you getting the right stuff done to accomplish the life that you desire? Are you getting the right stuff done to turn those goals that you have for yourself into reality, right? Good habits and routines will get you there. So that's going to be our focus all week long. I've got a quote for you. This is a Cassandra-ism. The routines we establish can lead us to greatness or hold us back from achieving our potential. The difference between greatness and being stuck: habits, routines, this consistency, right? When you have a routine, you're consistently doing something repetitively. You're doing, you have something that you do all the time. It's a routine, right? So that's consistency in and of itself. And when you are consistently doing the things that you need to do to accomplish the things that you desire, the goals will happen. They will move from dreams and desires and hopes to actual goals because you have a good plan for them. And then you start to implement that plan through your habits and through your routines and the actions that you're taking. And if you just focus on that, doing the right thing at any point in time, right? Saying yes to the things that are going to benefit you, saying no to the things that won't. If you just do that, the accomplishments are going to take care of themselves. They will be a natural output from all that input that you're creating through that routine. They will be a natural result. Success will be a natural result of the work that you're doing. But you have to do it consistently. You have to be clear about what it is that you need to do, and then just roll up your sleeves and get it done over and over and over again. And that's how you will win. The routines we establish can lead us to greatness or hold us back from achieving our potential. Hey, Brian, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to say hello to a few folks. I see some comments that have come in, and then we are going to open up the floor to bring you into the conversation. Kim says, morning, all. There's my sister, Alicia. Hey, girl. And Lisa says, happy Tuesday to everyone. Same to you. So glad you guys are here with us. And Brian, I'd love to hear what you'd like to share regarding the quote or anything around Transformation Tuesday and or our theme for the week, habits and routines.
Awesome. 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 Grand rising to everyone.
Grand
Thank,
Rising.
thanks, Cassandra, for steadily hosting this Transformation Tuesday. Believe it or not, this is that day where I acknowledge just how powerful that routine setting is.
Mm.
So, when I think about routines, I'm not just thinking about routines from a physical manifestation of what I want to see. I really start to think about the routines in my spiritual life first,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I really believe that that direction is what guides you to understand what routine or habits are not suited best for you, right? We don't really know. We don't really know. We have to continuously press ourselves to to that level of discomfort. Everybody wants to be comfortable, but that discomfort is where you're able to see, okay, this is or isn't working, right? I should or shouldn't keep doing this, depending on where that discomfort is coming from and how it's manifesting itself. Is this something I need to stop doing so that I can stay where I'm at, or is this something that I need to change up so that I can move to that next level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that I can start to ascend. And that conversation has to take place in the spiritual before the physical, right? You got to have that in your mind and spirit before you can start to put your body into action.
Mm-hmm.
I said all of that to say, uh, building resilience. You talked about this yesterday, and it just stuck in my head because just we go throughout our days and we don't understand the impact of those small things that we do throughout the day, those small reactions that we have to the things that we experience throughout the day. That resilience is imperative. One of the words that I use them because they enforce what it is, right? Imperative. You have to have resilience if you're going to keep going. You can't just start the day and stop tomorrow and then pick back up the next day. Each time
Right.
you do that, right? You know what happens? You lose that little bit of fortitude that you built up, that little bit of fortitude that you built up to that point. Every time you drop off. If you've ever gone to the gym, and I don't mean you. I know you're a jock. But if anybody else has ever gone to the gym, if you've ever been in the gym, if you've ever had a routine, that first day that you missed that routine, if you've been doing it for 2 weeks, that first day that you miss, forget about it. The next day you go in, you don't even want to go anymore. That's what happens in your life in every routine, every habit that you set up. When you have an objective in mind, if you decide, oh, I'm gonna go to school, and I've done it. When I first started going to undergrad, that was
Mhm.
probably the most unresilient period in my life. I was just, flipping around, going from major to major, uh, staying in dorms, buying apartments, moving back home with my parents. There was no resilience in my decision, right? My decision making was weighing because I did not have a habit, a routine in place, even for building up their resilience. If you start to set up habits in any form in your life, I don't care what it is, they're gonna transmute and transfer to these other
Yeah.
places in your life. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Building resilience is what gets you that level of confidence, that level of feeling like I can do this because then the next time you have to do it, it's going to be even more challenging. If you don't start building up small habits into good routines today, then when those storms come, when the bad times hit, you won't have that level of routine to sustain the resilience you need to move through that storm. It
Yep.
is it's I we all experience these things in life. A lot of the times we don't like to talk about it, right? But if you don't, then you don't acknowledge the fact that, okay, something's broke in the machine and I need to fix it. The routines and habits you talk about are a huge sprocket in this machine. See, all of the other things tie into how you manage to build up that fortitude. If there's an inability to do that, you're not going to be able to put these other things that you speak of into place, right?
Right.
Think about being grateful. You have to
Mhm.
build up a habit so that there is a routine in place for your gratitude. That means that every single time something good happens, you say thank you. And that means every single time something quote unquote bad happens, you say
Mhm. Mhm.
you have to practice that, right? That's not something that you just come up with overnight. And when you get a flat and you're running late for the first day of work on the first job, and you're the only one in there that's talking like you talk and moving like you move. It takes a real resilient mind to say thank you, even in that, right?
Mhm.
So building up those routines, again, it is imperative if you plan to move to that next level. That's my
Mhm.
time. No more preaching.
Well spent. Time well spent. Thank you for that. Lisa said, so true. The hardest thing with anything challenging is starting and being consistent. Consistency is key. And Kim said, good stuff. So true. I, I can't stress enough how important our routines are, because when we are at our highest stressful places, when we're struggling with something, when life is lifing and it's not lifing in what seems to be our favor at that moment, those routines is what you're going to default back to, right? So if you have a habit of, when you're really stressed, going for a walk or going for a run, or if you have a habit of when you're really stressed, grabbing a drink or grabbing a cigarette, or you get really emotional, so you fight with everybody around you. Whatever your routine is what you fall into when life is difficult, right? That routine will be there and it's going to catch you when you fall. But are you falling into a spider's web and you're going to get all stuck and sticky and possibly bitten? Or are you falling into something that's good and supportive and it's going to help you bounce back up? Your routine is that thing that catches you. It's just the way we're wired as humans. Our stress behaviors are our default behaviors. That's why it's so important when we talk about the 4 P's. The first P is prune, getting rid of that bad stuff that's not serving you, right? Not necessarily something that's bad. It's not like you're going out and you're holding up liquor stores or something crazy like that. But if it's not serving you, it's bad for you. So you need to get rid of it, right? If and then you prepare, you do the things, you add the new skills, you work on the mindset, you do whatever is necessary to build up the skills and the way of thinking that supports the life that you're moving towards. And then we get to that pace period. The reason pace is difficult, but also necessary, is because that's when we really integrate those new behaviors into our lives. And in integrating those new behaviors and practicing them and allowing them to become routine, they become your safety net. That's what catches you when you fall. So you can bounce back up. And I'm telling you, it'll work over and over again. If you haven't had time to integrate that new behavior yet, just like winning the lottery, if money runs through your hands and you have more of it, there's just more of it that's going to run through your hands. But if you've worked and you've sweat and you've built the habits, you've saved, you figured out how to make a dollar go so much farther than you used to because of the new money mindset and how in the relationship you have with money and how you're managing it and saying no to some of the frivolous stuff so that you can say yes to the things that are important to you. When you develop those habits and those skills and you create that routine and the windfall comes, it's going to last because you have the skills necessary to support it. And not only will it last, it will probably grow because it's going to be surrounded by those healthy habits that you've created during the struggle. You remember when there wasn't enough money to stretch through the month, but you figured out if I buy a bunch of this and I can make it stretch and I can make sure the family is fed. If we don't go out twice a month, there's enough money to make sure that the lights stay on. Lots of people are having to make those types of decisions every day. But in making those decisions and getting and creating, learning those skills, when the tide changes and there is more, you will not squander it. You may have a moment of, oh my God, I don't have to worry about money for a moment. So you may be a little frivolous for a moment, but your routine will catch you and it will kick in and you will make good decisions and do the things that you need to do and your blessing will last. It's no different with any other skill. That's just an easy one to articulate, right? The lottery is an easy one that people can relate to. But it could be anything. Whatever it is, you're going to fall back on that default when life is difficult. So it's important that while it's not, we're building up those behaviors. I'm telling y'all, my gratitude practice saved me mentally when we were stuck in New York with this CrowdStrike thing. I was at peace. I was even joyful. I was thinking about how do I make the best out of this situation. I am in New York. It's a beautiful city. There's lots of things to do. So what am I going to do with this time? And one day I barely got out of bed. I was exhausted. If I was at home, there would have been all kinds of things pulling at me that I would have been getting done. So I realized that it was an opportunity to rest and to rest deeply with no real responsibility after work. And I leaned into that and I slept and slept and slept. Yeah, I was in the big city. I could have done things that day, but the important thing for me that day was to restore. my body and rest. And I was so grateful that I had that opportunity, right? And I could look and see, despite the fact that I can't get home, I've got a nice warm bed to sleep in. It's covered by my company, so I'm not having a big financial impact. It's what we decide to do in those moments that show us where our what our habits and routines really are. So we have to pay attention. How do you behave during the struggle? How do you behave when the no comes when you want it yes so bad? The answer is not wrong. The answer is not something that you judge. The answer is insight into where you are and opportunity to adjust if necessary. That's it. If we can get to a place where we're not so hard on ourselves, to where we can be honest with ourselves and see those opportunities, we're so much better off. But it's not enough to recognize it, it's not enough to confess it. You actually have to make a plan and implement that plan. What am I going to do differently so that I can move from this place and into where it is I desire? What routines do I need? What habits must I change? How do I move forward consistently towards my goals? Honest conversations that we need to have with ourselves. I know that if there's a Dr. Pepper around, I'm going to grab it. So I can't have it around. I've got to surround myself with bottles of water. My physical therapist said you got to get at least the 64 ounces in a day. Let's start there. Let's make sure you're doing that consistently, and then we'll add to it. And then we'll do half the body weight in water every day, because that's going to help that pain, that back pain. That's going to loosen up that neck. But I could easily grab a Dr. Pepper without any thought, just automatic. So it's up to me to surround myself with things to help me get a new automatic behavior. We have that ability every single day throughout the day. We are making choices, right? I heard my husband up this morning getting ready. I was so snuggled in. My alarm wasn't going to go off for a good hour to get up for the show. But we had talked about it last night. We're going to get up and go to the gym. Oh, man. But when it's time to get up, doesn't that pillow feel extra soft and the bed's extra snuggly and comfortable? And I had a decision to make. Oh, come on, girl. You went to the chiropractor yesterday. They did all that good work. She has you aligned and feeling a lot better. So go give your body what it needs. Staying in the bed, not moving that extra hour is going to be counterproductive to the work that was done yesterday. Get up, get moving. Y'all talk to yourself, encourage yourself. Don't beat yourself up. If you're not your own best friend, you have work to do. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to the young you or some cute little kid that you feel like needs some help. Give yourself that kind of love, that kind of grace, and watch how you change your behaviors. I didn't tell myself, girl, you so lazy, won't you just get up? You got somebody that's going every day, all you have to do. No, that type of language, that type of tone has never worked on me. Not as a kid coming from my parents, not as an employee coming from some manager. Some It's never worked. It's always been counterproductive. I'm more of a honey type of chick. I need the sweetness. If anybody's gonna be hard on me, it's gonna be me. I don't give you that right. I don't. It's not your job. It's not your job to go beating up on people, including you, especially you. So encourage yourself. Come on, let's get it going. You know you're gonna feel better on the other side of this. So just get up. Let's go to the gym. Yes, you're getting up at 5:30 in the morning, a second day in a row. But we're gonna work on getting to bed earlier too. So even that's not a big deal. Encourage yourself. Be kind to yourself and help yourself create that space in those new habits so that they do become your new routine, your new default, so that you can do the things that you need to do. Encourage you. Hi, Cynthia. Speaking of the gym, oh my goodness. Y'all, Cynthia has the most beautiful legs I've ever seen in my life. it looks like she's walking. I don't even know what her legs look like. They're so pretty. They're just perfect. And I asked, do you work on your legs more than anything? I don't even know what the answer is, but her legs have responded. We met each other at a place called the Camp, and it's hit workouts and all kinds of stuff. That's what I really loved, was the working out and the weightlifting. And they do all kinds of challenges, and they help you with your diet, the whole thing. Not being on a diet, but eating a healthy diet to support the goals that you have. Really, really awesome place. And Tim still goes. He's just Cynthia. He's on sabbatical right now because he had surgery 3 weeks ago, so he's able to start lifting again on the 13th. So he's coming back on the 13th, and I'm coming back the next challenge that you guys have in August. So we'll both be back in August. So good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. She says she's blushing, but she knows it's true. I've admired her legs and talked about them things many, many times because they're just so perfect. And Cynthia gets it in, and it's a fun place to be. Working, working, working. She said, "Yay, yep, we will be back. I've got to make sure he's all healed up." And the doctor gives him the thumbs up. Right now, he can't lift anything over 20 pounds, so he's just really doing the treadmill and keeping the heart rate up, that kind of stuff, walking. But he's not doing much else besides living at this point. But he'll be back. He's can't wait to get back, and he's eating really well. Again, y'all, if I grew up on fast food. I really did. My grandmother was so accommodating, I guess is the word. Not the typical black grandma, especially back in the day. I had one grandmother who said, whatever I put on your plate, you're going to eat it, and you're not getting up until you finish your plate. And then I had my mom's mom who just spoiled me rotten when it came to food. She would cook a full course meal, and then she would make me a burger or a hot dog or a grilled cheese. She didn't make me eat real food. And so that I grew up like that. And then food just becomes something that I had to have when the energy was running real low. So I would go all day working. I wouldn't go to the bathroom until I came home because I hate public restrooms. So I would go all day, 8 hours plus a day, and not use the bathroom except before I leave for work and when I come back home. And maybe I'll grab something by 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon just because I'm starting to feel a little shaky, right? Horrible, horrible habits for years when it came to food and self care physically. Now, I was always in shape and I would do things, I was naturally small, no longer the case. I'm over 50. And so I didn't have to really work out, but I was always doing stuff. I was into sports and different things. And so it was just a part of my life. But now, where I have to be intentional about that, it's a challenge. It is a real challenge, especially the food thing. The working out I can do because it just feels good. And I like to see the results and all of that. But getting the eating right after a lifetime of not doing it all that well, consistent challenge. So we have to meal prep and be conscious about it and have the right things. Am I going to grab the chips or am I going to grab a piece of fruit? What's there? Oh my gosh, Stella, Peaches. Virtual hugs, virtual hugs. We grew up together. This young lady can sing your face off, and her entire family. I grew up, her dad was the superintendent, pastor of our church, and eventually superintendent. And we had him preaching. We had her mom on the organ and singing. We had one brother on the guitar, one brother on the organ, the other brother directing the choir. When you talk about a church family, talented, they were like a whole band all by themselves. They just did it all. And just wonderful, wonderful people. A good part of the goodness that's in me, her parents instilled in not just me, but all the little folks around as we were growing up, and they were introducing us to Christ and showing us what it looked like to live that way. And so, girl, I'm so happy to see you. I love you too. And Sheila, hello, hello, hello. There's folks just popping up every week. I get a surprise. So you're it today, Peaches. But I've been seeing a lot of people show up from my past, and I just think that is so Amazing. Sheila says, "Good morning, Cassandra. Remember me?" Yes, I do remember you, Sheila. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is great to have you here. As it's like a reunion. So, Brian, you may have to help me stay on track because they've got my mind going back. I'm back in the 80s right now and beyond because literally Peaches and I forgot her brother Sean on the drums. So they literally were the entire band. And one of those families, the families that we see like on TV now, those they were that back in the day before there was the mega churches and all this stuff. They were doing it in, and I think two different churches, a church in Dallas and then our little church in Farmersville, Texas, which still stands today. So yep, my heart is full today just seeing your name. And welcome, welcome, welcome everybody. There's a good slice of my life here today, people from all different aspects, which is amazing to see. So I am all smiles. Let me try to get back on track. Staying focused sometimes is tough when all you guys are showing up. Kim said, "True that. Over 50, belly fat. That's where Lisa comes in. Menopause master queen. Absolutely, absolutely." And that's how I met Lisa. Was doing her show on LinkedIn. She invited me in to talk about mindset as a part of her menopause show, which was amazing. So let's get back to transforming through our habits and our routines. I do have some actionable steps that, as always, that I want to share with you guys. So let me get to those and start to, let's see. So, beginning with creating a morning and an evening routine. Your morning routine should prepare you for the day, right? What mindset? What's my mindset like? So that's why it's so important for me to start with that gratitude. Before I my feet hit the ground, I spend a few minutes connecting to God, thinking about what I'm grateful for, thanking him for what he's blessed me with, and being really specific about three things that I'm grateful for. That's before the eyes are even open and the day has started. That's first thing in the morning. And then I get up and I go through my morning routine. I go out and I spend some time in my garden. I've got little cucumbers and basil and asparagus. Asparagus is a commitment. It takes 3 seasons before it's even edible. And I'm in season 3 or 4. So we've got the edible asparagus coming up. And it just gives me so much pleasure. When I can, like, I've got a little bitty watermelon right now that's about that big, but it already has its stripes and you can see exactly what it is. So to be able to go out and see what we worked on actually starting to produce fruit and vegetables, it just feels good. It's peaceful. Last night we went out and I have 3 garden beds. They're about 6 feet each. We went out and we put the LED lights around them. So it's the lights are soaking up sun all day long and they'll come on automatically tonight and the whole thing is trimmed out. Just peaceful. It's a part of my routine. Now I get up after I've sat for an hour or so. I even if I have to take my laptop with me, I'll get up and I'll walk outside and just go hang out in my garden for a few minutes to reset my mind and to move my body so that I'm not sitting still for so long. What do you need? Now we're back into the gym. So I'm at 30 minutes on the treadmill, 30 minutes with weights and functional training. That's part of my morning. Creating those routines so that you're setting yourself up to win this day. What does winning mean to you? What does it look like? How are you feeling? What are you doing? What are the things that you're going to accomplish? All of that, you need to be clear before you start taking actions. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you committing to yourself that you're going to get done today? You think about that during your morning routine. Your evening routine, that's when you wind down. That's when you congratulate yourself on a successful day. That's when you again show gratitude for what this day has given you. Have your prayer life, your meditation life, whatever it is that you do to clear your mind and connect. And you prepare yourself for a good night's sleep. I was on a show yesterday, and one of the things that Leah says is your day starts the night before. And what she means by that is the night before, she's already kind of planned out what she intends for the next day. So her morning routine is not creating the action item. She does that the night before. But whatever it is that's going to help you wind down, help you be prepared so that you can move through, do that. Do it, do it, do it. So create that morning routine and your evening routine, and you want to incorporate those healthy practices. Do you meditate? Do you pray? Do you exercise? Are you getting enough water? Are you giving your body the hydration that it needs, the nutrition that it needs? Are you moving enough? Are you getting outside and getting that vitamin D in? Exercise is one thing, but being outside and connecting with nature is another. The sun, we need that sun, and most people don't get nearly enough vitamin D. So just getting outside a little bit and letting that sun hit you is important, right? So what are the healthy practices that you need? I had to overcome that negative self-talk. So my healthy practice, part of that is was affirmations for the longest, and they were all over my mirror, and I would repeat them. Even I would repeat them in my head as I'm brushing my teeth and getting my day started. And then I would say them out loud when I could, just incorporating that positive talk, speaking life over myself, building myself up. The cheerleaders are not always going to be there. The crowd will not always be there. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. You have to be able to speak life over and into you. And when you can do it for yourself, you have it to give to others. So make sure that you're building up you. You're taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Every level of you, every layer needs its own self care. So look at your routines and go, where am I doing well? And where can I improve? If my spiritual life is off, what can I incorporate in? Am I gonna spend some time every morning? Maybe I take a midday break. Maybe I do it in the evening. Maybe I do all three. What is it that you do that feeds you spiritually? What is it that you do to make sure that the body is nourished and getting what it needs? What is it that you do to create the good emotional well-being? Because what we forget, we have a tendency to focus on one part of us, but none of us works well without all pieces. It's like a wheel. If all of it's not working properly, you don't get that smooth rotation. Something's going to be off. So we have to peel back the layers of us and give each layer its due, making sure that we're incorporating healthy habits and taking care of the entire person, not just the physical. I was really heavy on the mindset part. It was because I needed that. I was really at one point in time deficient in that space. So I built up this mindset practice, and that came a big part of it. But if I'm gaining weight and I'm getting unhealthy and I'm not taking care of the physical body, there's no way you're going to keep the mindset that strong. When I was in real pain the other day, it was hard to have conversation. It was hard to connect with anybody. It was hard to be nice because all I wanted to do was go to sleep, and I wanted that pain to go away. So there's no way you're operating as your best spiritual self, your best mental self, if one of the other layers is off. So we have to take care of the entire person. And then lastly, once you've got that routine, adjust it and refine it. When you see what's working, do more of that. When something is not quite giving you what you thought it would, give it an assessment, see what needs to change, and refine the routine over time. Like, it was important for me to do all that mindset stuff at one point. Now it's important for me to focus on the physical body. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do mindset anymore. It's just not as big. It's not the focus item. It's not that big thing that I know I need to dig into. I have to work on all the layers, but there's typically one that's screaming for your attention. And so the physical body is going, hey, hey, don't forget about me. I'm glad you're happy. I'm glad you're joyful. Glad you're doing all that good positive self talk. But you are gaining weight. You are getting stiff. You have aches and pains that you shouldn't have because you're not taking care of me well enough, right? So here, listen to your body, all the layers of it, and give yourself what you need unapologetically. And we're going to close. Y'all know how much I love acrostics. So we're going to close with an acrostic for today to help you remember the importance of routine. But before I go into that, there's a couple of comments. Uh, Stella says, encouraging. So good. Thank you. And Kim said, build me up, Buttercup. I love you, Kim. You are the best. All right. So let's look at the word routine and how it can help us remember the importance of healthy habits and routine and how we can go about building it. So the R, reflect on your needs. You have to the clarity, guys. It all begins with clarity and understanding. What do I need to get where it is I'm trying to go? Reflect on that first and get that clarity in your mind. And then you want to organize. The O is organize your time. Organize your time, time block, do whatever it is that you do, calendar it so that you're building in the time necessary to create the life that you desire, to implement the plans that you have for yourself. Utilize tools and resources. You don't have to go it alone. We have our SOAR community. Many of you guys are a part of the collective, and we have contact beyond the morning show, right? There's all kinds of tools and resources that you can use. I've introduced some of those over time, like the Eisenhower Matrix, to help you prioritize tasks and figure out what to do. It could be something as simple as a calendar or a journal. I talked about setting alarms in my phone, little reminders throughout my day to make sure I'm doing the right things. Those are all tools. Google, see what are some resources out there that align with whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then you want to test and tweak regularly. I'm big on assessing because we do get into routines, and because they become automatic habits, if we're not careful, we turn off the brain and we're just going through the emotions. I want us to remain conscious. Keep what we're doing in our conscious mind so we can decide at any point in time if it's working for us or if it needs a tweak, if we need to make some sort of adjustment. So keep an eye on a regular basis, see how things are going, make the necessary adjustments so you continue to move forward. And then you want to integrate new habits gradually. Think about, if those of you who are parents, do you remember when your kid was moving from milk to solid foods? One of the things that the doctor would warn is to do one at a time. That way, if they had some sort of an allergic reaction, you knew exactly what it was that didn't sit well with them, and you knew not to give it to them anymore, or at least in this at this phase of their development. Your new habits, you want to integrate them slowly. If you take in too much, you end up getting overwhelmed. You don't know what's working and what's not. And like that new baby, you end up sick. And when we end up sick, we have a tendency to back off and leave that thing there. And we probably wouldn't pick it up again. But if you take your time, and even my therapist said that to me yesterday, because I was telling her about what I was doing at the gym. She said, take it slow. We're doing a lot of hard work on these muscles. I don't want you to get so sore. I don't want you to get overwhelmed and frustrated and burn yourself out before you get started well, and not build a good healthy routine, but overdo it. We don't want to overdo it because that ends up being overwhelming, and we end up losing ground instead of moving in the direction that we are trying to go. The N stands for nurture consistency. Consistency, consistency, consistency. What we do over and over again, we will excel at. We become good at it. We get better and better and better. That's why sports and most things have practice, right? Before you deliver a speech, you're going to practice, right? That made me think of Stella. Remember all of our Easter speeches? That's one of the best times in my life. So consistency, consistency, consistency. Practice, practice, practice. Do it over and over again. Focus on doing the activities that are a part of your system well and consistently, and the results will take care of themselves. And lastly, evaluate your progress. When you see yourself moving forward, you begin to believe more and more in yourself. You become more self-confident. You start to believe, okay, I'm really getting this. And you don't get overwhelmed so quickly. I may not be at the finish line yet, but I'm also no longer at the starting gate. I am in the race. I'm moving forward. I'm getting it done. That's to be applauded. That's something to be excited about. So evaluate your progress. Give yourself that thumbs up, that gold star, because you're in the race. And when you see that you've gotten off track, we're not going to beat ourselves up. We're going to acknowledge it. We're going to see where we are, and we're going to create a route to get us right back in the race, right? Evaluating your progress will help you stay on task. So that's what routine will do for you. It will reduce stress. It keeps you from having to make decision after decision after decision because you've already decided where you're going. And the yeses are easy, the nos are easy because either they align with those plans that you have for you or they do not. And if they don't, we don't want to spend cycles on it. We want to get that stuff, those distractions out of the way as quickly as possible. So transformation is possible for all of us. The life that we desire is possible for all of us. Consistency is key to you getting there, and your habits and your routines consistently implemented over time will yield you the results that you are looking for. So that is our time for today. Oh, Kim, Lisa is sending you a virtual hug, it looks like. That's our time for today, guys. I appreciate you hanging in with me for almost an hour. Brian, any parting words before we shut it down for today?
Nothing other than great show.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. So we will be back here, guys, tomorrow. Tomorrow's already Wednesday, right? 7:15 a.m. for Wake Up Wednesday. We will talk about the power of intentionality. When I say wake up, I don't mean just your physical waking up. I mean mentally tapping in and being aware of those routines and habits and how they are either serving you or they are not. So we'll continue our theme of habits and routines, and we will look at it from the perspective of intentionality tomorrow on Wake Up Wednesday. So come back, join us back here tomorrow at 7:15. Bring a friend. Make sure you're sharing the live. These are recorded, so some of you are here for the first time. If you really got something out of it, share it and help become an ambassador of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Help me continue to grow my reach and have these conversations with more and more people. And I appreciate it. Kim says, have a great day, all. Same to you, Kim. Peaches. Who else? Sheila. Did you call me, Sheila? Message me, because I remember the other night I think I got a message. But that may have been a different Sheila. I need to look. But welcome to you as well. Great to see your name. Cynthia, so glad that you were here. Lisa, Alicia, Kim, you all have a wonderful Tuesday on purpose. Purpose in your mind right now. Don't let another second go by without determining what this day is going to be. It's going to be great. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be impactful. It's yours to have. It's yours to create. Just go get it, guys. Go get it and have the day that you desire. That's my wish, my prayer for you. That's what I'm doing for me. It's going to be a wonderful day. Despite the external circumstances, I don't live out there. I live within here, and I've already purposed within here that today is going to be a wonderful day, and I will deal with life as it crops up, but it will not penetrate the heart. It will not determine the type of day that I have. And I want you to take that control over you and your life as well. So make it a great one, and we will see you back here tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Central. Thanks, everybody.